Okay, moving on. Here is part 2 of the Miku demo, and we're going to pick up right where we left off. Let's take a look at the neck, and notice that the head is going to follow with the neck. Okay, we can also turn head follow switch on, which is going to detach the head from the neck, and it's going to give us a chance to do some nice overlapping motion. Okay, so we can also independently move this over here, and we can use some translation to kind of offset that a little bit, which is really nice. The next option we have are the eyes are going to use standard aim strength systems. As you can see, the individual eyes can be activated, or we can move them in tandem. Now, anime characters have some really crazy expressions, and one of the ways that they can use these is, blowing their face up and giving these really cartoony sort of looks to, things when they're reacting. So, I really wanted to kind of simulate this with a new technique that basically I learned from gaming rigs, and that's where they're going to make use of animated textures as well as the visibility of masks. So there's little geometry masks that are going to create sort of an animated texture effect. Right now the eyes are normal, but they can go to squinted, which is a really popular Hatsune Miku sort of look. And at production quality, you can kind of see how that blends in pretty well there. Now, if I go to crazy, you can see how the eyes kind of pop and explode there. And then I can go to dizzy. And when I go to dizzy, you have the ability to kind of create this. And anybody who's seen that effect knows that, that can create a really nice confused effect there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is the hair controls. So we have FK control vis switch. When we activate this, all of the hair stuff is self-contained inside this controller. We can move the back of the hair up. We can, rotate it. And we can go to FK control viz. Notice that that's going to control, each of these here. And you're going to give yourself the ability to activate in full FK in rotation as well as translation exactly what you're looking to do. And you're going to be able to do anything that the joints can do. Okay? Now, in addition to that, when we turn this off, we can go to FK bang controls. And we're going to get a very similar response. Okay? We can still move all this stuff, but we're going to be able to activate different options via set-driven key. And so it's a nice, efficient use of, I don't have 1,000 different little curves to animate everything. And it's a nice blend of set-driven keys and full FK constraint objects. And then we have hair clip controls, which are going to allow us to animate the actual hair clips, which is a really subtle thing. Okay? Now, notice that this says FK. I can actually turn this to dynamic, which is a completely different hair system. And if the hair system is on dynamic, look what happens when I go to interactive playback. The hair gets nice and swishy. So Maya is going to give you nice dynamic activated hair, but there is an issue with this. Well, not really an issue, but a workaround. And the workaround for this is they'll take the hair and they will hide it, and then they'll turn the dynamics off when they're not using it, and then they have to return it back on and then unhide it when they're ready to go. So what this will do is notice that it plays fine as it goes forwards. But if I start scrubbing the timeline back and forth, the hair blows up on us. The reason it does this is because Maya doesn't like calculating back, and it really doesn't like going back and forth because it can't understand, that quick change of frames quick enough. So what we can do is we can turn this to FK. And now we can, animate our next pass, whatever, scrub, do whatever we need to do. And then when we're ready to play blast, we can just turn it back to dynamic. And all of the settings and features and animations on the dynamic system is going to be right there for you. So let's go ahead and turn that back to FK. Let's take a look at the final feature by turning off the hair. And we can go to GUI Viz Switch. Now, once I open up GUI Viz Switch, notice that we open up a 2-camera system and we cannot get out of that view. Okay? No matter what I rotate, no matter what my character's doing, it's going to be right on that face, and I'm going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing as far as lip syncing goes. Also notice that my GUI is what you see is what you get. I've seen a lot of rigging systems where they have kind of like a face, and they have like a, squares and circles and lines are supposed to represent certain things, and frowns, and, that's okay if you can understand it, but it's really confusing for me. So for me, AEI basically is going to give you AEI. Each thing that I tell you is going to do exactly what it says. If you want a character to blink or wink, you just make it wink. If you want it to blink, you find the word blink and, click the slider. I mentioned before that you could, when the eyes look up, you could activate the morph targets, which are going to do that. this is a separate thing, so you can kind of animate that as a separate pass if you like to. The tongues all are here. Everything's pretty much self-contained. And in addition to this, we have a completely different facial system that you can activate called FK Tweak. Notice this now activates a bone-driven system. This is really nice because now, if the game engine doesn't like morph targets, you can now actually put animations in your game engine because this is all bone-based. And you can go into the paint weights option and you can affect whatever performance you're getting. Let's say I want this to control that vertice, whereas it's controlled by this right now. You could just paint the weights and, you know, affect the performance you're going to get. So that's pretty nice as far as that goes. The other thing we can do is we can use both of them in tandem. So let's say I go to the O and I move the O up, and then I say, okay, now I want to make both of these go up and then bring this in a little bit and really kind of shape out a better O. And you notice that I can do that very easily. So, you know, translation, rotation, everything applies, and it's just a really nice extra feature system. And if we want to quickly fix this, what we can do is we can go to Show Polygons, select all these, go to Translation, zero that all out. We can go Show Polygons, go back in. We can grab all of these because everything is templated, so the only thing you can select are the control curves that you want. Go to Panels, Perspective, Persp, spacebar that out. We can then turn this off, and we are back. And now we have our nice clean rig with all of our bells and whistles turned off, and we just have a basic standard rig now. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is something that I was able to do, kind of a rig test, and I was able to accomplish that with this system. I would like to show you guys the full animation with sound because it's really nice and it's synced up well. But unfortunately, Hypercam, it records audio about a few frames behind the actual video, so it makes it look like my lip sync is off, and it's not. I put a lot of work into it. So we're going to go into QuickTime Movies, activate this, and I'm going to show you guys just real quick the movie file that I was able to get with my rig system here. And although you can't hear the sound, you can kind of see the motion and just kind of see some of the nice, you know, arcs and a lot of the nice overlapping motion, the facial animation, as well as, you know, the dynamic hair. And, you know, the facial system really allowed me to get some nice performance pieces using that. You can also see the glowed intensity playing, and it just kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you can do with this rig. So I really hope that you guys can use this. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys are excited. I really want to thank you guys for giving me the time to, you know, talk about this and explain all the little bells and whistles that go along with this. And I hope you guys can make some really cool stuff with it. And if you do, again, no model, no texture. All I'd like credit for is the rig itself. And if there's any comments, critiques, questions, you want to say thanks, you want to say this is an awesome rig, or you have any suggestions for changes, please send it to gagex2z@yahoo.com, jasonkscott88@gmail.com, or gagex2z on YouTube. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome night. Bye.